All right, some SPY technical analysis for the weekend. Had a couple people request this as well. All right, so coming in from, this is the daily chart for the SPY. All-time high, this dark green or green line. All right, notice that we have one. Here's the origin, 2, 3. So even right here, this is the end of March, beginning of April high. All right, that's where I put that in. And then look, August, mid-August, boom. There's the third. So we know that this is the top hand. And here's the bottom. All right, coming up from mid-June. All right, then there's the inflection that we had here, breaking over the high, retested, boom, gone. This came up. And then once it broke, well, rejected off the top, or sorry, the downtrend ray. All right. And then we started this one. Okay, that went, I think, 3-4 days in a row. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Once it broke this uptrend ray, we had a nice spillage down. Came back up, and then we retested. And that, when we got into that one, that's the big down candle. Everybody's like, oh, Powell. Oh, Fed said something. No. That was breaking the trend, coming up and retested the downtrend that came from the August high, came up into it and got rejected hard. All right, stopped at the bottom of the Keltner channel, took a day, continued because now we had this one that just came out. So there's 1, 2, 3 days of this downtrend being tested. 1, 2, 3. All right, and then we finally had a day, came up through, right? Nice green day. Came up, got rejected. Or I shouldn't say rejected. Came back down. Oh, actually, I forget how that day went. I think it went, yeah. So we opened up, went down, retested against this break. So we broke this, right? And then we came down, we broke, we tested it. And then I think we came up and then settled out. Yeah, because that would make sense here because this was a red day. So we went up and we faded into the close. Came down. Here's the test here. All right, couple days just bounce. I shouldn't say bouncing around. Decent movements of going up and down. A lot of volatility. But look, 1, 2. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 tests. Now we have this one. Now the good thing is that the angle in here, I think, is pretty close to the angle out, meaning that we're basically getting a V bottom, which is what we kind of got. Well, not here, but the idea is that we had a sharp angle coming in. We had like a W formation really, but this is what you want to see, is that when it's coming down a sharp angle, if the bounce is just as equal out, that's a good sign. You can start breaking through some downtrend rays and cutting through some moving averages. You need this angle of attack. All right, now notice that where we landed, I'm going to get rid of this just for the time being. Notice where we landed, or where we stopped. We have this downtrend ray, so here it is. This has been there for weeks now. We hit that, and then we hit the anchored VWAP, which is this red line, this anchored VWAP from the mid-June, or sorry, mid-August high, and then this blue anchored VWAP, which is from the end of March, beginning of April high. That's where we have this little confluence there, right? We finished on amber, which is good. That means it's not bullish nor bearish, which is good. I can take that, considering what we looked like for about a week there. That was looking pretty ugly. Angle of attack near term is definitely beating the down. It's pretty close, but I think there's some bullish momentum in here. 406.70s has been support resistance before, so I think we're gonna probably see a snapback and maybe come back into here and then move up. So right around 4, maybe retest 400, maybe come down to 397, come into here, maybe test the bottom of the Keltner channel and we come up. Or this is where we hit and we just get rejected on Monday and we cut right back down. It's possible. Kind of like a little bit of a no man's land when we're in here. Not much going on. You can see that every time that we go between here and here, it moves pretty rapidly, right? Not too much chop there. So there's not too much. I mean, there's a lot of volume that has been traded in here, but the share price, the ticker tends to move pretty quickly between, let's see, high 380s to about 4. In terms of RSI, we got this one. We broke through it. I have this highlighted down here, this purple circle here. Both of those days, it might not look, but that's these days. Well, it's actually right here and here, but that actually hit this gray during the day. But it, the share price moved up into the close, so it didn't end up hanging out there. But both of those days, it touched this gray uptrend ray. So what's that from? Yeah, that's January. So there it is. If you were to ask me, the good thing is about where are we going? Everything should be considered neutral, because in general, I think you got this blue uptrend and this green downtrend overall. That's the big guys, right? If you got rid of all these, and you focus on that, you could see a nice symmetrical wedge or pennant, whatever formation you want to say there. So both angles are equal, pretty much. So this happens a lot. On daily and monthly charts, it happens once in a while, but you could see these a lot in day trading. When you start to see this and it gets really, really tight. Not over obviously a long period of time, but they get really tight, and then it either makes the break above what I usually like to see is it breaks out, gets to say it breaks out somewhere around here, breaks out, fails at its first try to break above, but once it comes down and retests this downtrend ray, when it hits it and then it comes up, it usually breaks above the resistance. And that's when I know we're in good shape, because it just needed to get out and then test and go. And it kind of just rolls to it, hits it, and the angle that it comes off it is steeper than when it comes in. In that case, it's just the computer's just waiting for that retest and people stepping in. Same thing here. If it comes down, kind of slips out, and then it comes up and tries to regain and then gets rejected, then we're going to make a solid move down. So those are things to look for. Yeah, that's basically it. We could take a look at the monthly and see what it looks like. I mean, that's just showing you that I don't see any. We're all blue. We're still blue. Which is the go, no go. Look. That's the monthly chart. You want to talk about the big game? Look at this. 2009. Oh, 2020. That's where it hit. Oh, what do you know? Look where we hit here. Oh my gosh. Look at all the number. Oh my gosh, look at that. What do you know? What do you know? It's just like it's all according to plan. Look at the RSI trends. Look at that. Just clean. But look at this one. You can't deny this one. Look at this. 2008, 2009 financial crisis. The bottom. Look, comes right in line with the bottom of COVID. All right, recession sell-off. Oh my gosh. You can even argue that this is a giant setup. Should we even attempt? Where are you at? So there's that one. Busted up. There's this one. Look at this. Huh. Anytime it busts really high above that, weakens up. So when's the last time we had this? Crazy, 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 crazy. One, two, three, breaks up above. Alright, so I'll probably end with that, but sometimes I'm like, well, what's the next thing that we're looking for here, right? Let's talk this through. Where do the computers want to take us next? Broke above it. January 2018. Weakened up. I think maybe we have to go back to the daily and then put the monthly against it. So this was fine, right? And then this is the high. Nothing to see in the RSI except the monthly is weakening up, right? Usually what we tend to see is the daily getting above the daily RSI rising up as the monthly's coming down. And that's the sign for like a solid sell-off, like right here. So we're coming up off the bottom. Share price coming up, RSI coming up. All right, the daily, the solid line, daily RSI surpassing the declining monthly, and then you kind of get, yeah, well, that makes sense. This is a much more prolonged and ugly move, I guess, than this one, but same thing here. Another rise up. Say another rise up as the monthly's declining. We splurge out. Blech. Spew out, I should say, not splurge. Now, could we be seeing? See, because now we have a rising monthly, slightly. I mean, we're to be seen, but I would say it's rising. I mean, because here it's definitely lower or higher than here, and the daily RSI is dropping below as the monthly's starting to rise up, and then we see a nice pop up. So that's kind of when you see those things occurring, you can keep an eye out, because sometimes you just get a decent move that lasts more than a day or so. It's not just an intraday move; it's multiple days. I can see that happen here. September 2020, we were up. We saw a nice pullback. Look, declining monthly, rising daily. We could see that. I know we can definitely see it March of 2020, because it's like the best. February and March of 2020 is a great example. Look at this. So here we are, market top. So the RSI strength is here. Lower RSI in general, but look at that. Look how that angle, how that's rising and how sharp that's pulling down. Right? We're seeing a monthly weakening up despite the share price rising. See this day? Look at that. Now, everybody's going to say COVID. Oh, yeah, COVID, accelerated the situation. It gave us headlines. But let's keep in mind that we knew COVID was a problem months before. Right? There's February. There were the day I knew was in trouble was, I think, a Thursday afternoon, and the market just dropped in the middle of the day. And basically for 5-6 years, if not long, almost a decade, whenever the market sold off in the middle of the day like that, just like a plummet, it almost always got bid up, and it was an angle in, angle out, and it did not do it that day. It came down, basically it did this, came down, it did not do this. It came down and kind of almost followed this angle of this uptrend right here. So plummeted, came down in the middle of the day and moved, and I was like, uh-oh. And then Friday was the problem. It came down, and then the next morning, and the next week, all hell's breaking loose. See that gap? Look at that. Whoopsies. See that gap there, and then we just went. But that was this. That was because of this. I know COVID had an issue with it, but let me tell you what. We were grinding up for months. I remember in October, I was like, this is unbelievable. Where was he? It was October. We just we started coming up out of this October, and I was like, this is where, things that got above this high, and I was like, this is unbelievable. And I was like, yeah, Santa Claus rally, but then, 2 more months while COVID was happening, I'm like, this is crazy. Broke down. And then look, solid move up, rising. Look, right here. Look at the absolute bottom, right? We're way down here, but look, monthly RSI's coming up, daily's going, dropping. See ya. So we got the example. We have extreme examples. Declining monthly, rising daily, sell off. Rising monthly, declining daily, pop up. Here's another example. It's not a strong one, but declining, rising, sell off. All right, so I'll stop talking about that too much, but you could find that idea. It helps on like the daily, monthly setups, weekly, hourly. It's kind of rough once you get down to like under the 15-minute mark. It really, you're kind of looking for maybe 3 or 4 time frames to kind of confirm that sort of divergence and overlap, but it's interesting. Something I saw years ago, and it's worked out very well, especially in terms of investing. Trading, it's been great for, again, big moves, multi-position trades rather than, little scalps. But every once in a while, if you're looking to add, that's a good spot when you can, when you see the monthlies rising, the dailies dropping. It's usually a good time to, add to a position or potentially initiate position that you've been waiting for. All right, I think I'll end there. I hope this was helpful for you guys looking at it and, go into a little bit more detail on what I'm looking at. Again, I am just neutral at this point. I think there's potential that we set in a higher low. Notice how we kind of came in the same spot, so we're resting on top of this formation right now. So I would say I'm slightly bullish because I'm optimistic that that's what's happening, but I don't have, look, we're neutral with, the angles of attack. Anything else to be bullish about? We're still angle in, angle out, so it's a strong angle up. Maybe it is enough to get going. I don't know. RSI trend, we broke this one. I don't have any. There's nothing else coming down right now. So maybe wait and see. The daily RSI is rising. Yeah, if I had anything, I guess I'd lean bullish, but in general, I don't see anything that confirms it. All right, we'll end it there. And maybe I'll try to do something Monday or Tuesday if things get interesting. All right, I hope you